Sometimes it feels like you're working 10 times harder than everyone around you, and somehow you're still stuck, still struggling to get ahead. I want you to really sit with that for a second. If that sounds like your life right now, tell me in the comments. And stick with this video until the end, because by the time it's over, you're going to understand exactly why this keeps happening, and how to finally get money moving toward you instead of away. What I'm about to share might challenge something you've believed for a long time. Most of us were taught the same simple answer: work harder, work longer, sacrifice more. Eventually, it'll all pay off. But what if that's not actually the missing piece? What if the way you think, the beliefs you carry without even noticing them, and the mental patterns you repeat every single day are quietly steering the decisions you make about money, success, and opportunity? And what if you could start rewriting those patterns with something as small as 2 words, repeated right before you fall asleep? Quick thing before we go further. If you're watching from the United States, hit that hype button for me. If you're anywhere else in the world, drop a like instead and let me know in the comments which country you're tuning in from. I genuinely love seeing how far this reaches. Now stay with me, because I'm about to walk you through exactly how this practice works, why the minutes right before sleep are such a powerful window for reflection and mental rehearsal, and how 2 simple words can become a nightly habit that builds a stronger, more abundant mindset over time. And if you're serious about building a better financial future, type "I'm ready" in the comments right now. Not because a comment magically creates money. That's not how any of this works. But there's something about making a small public commitment that makes your own intentions feel more real, more worth following through on. Welcome back to Tranquility Insight, the #1 channel for financial freedom content. If you haven't subscribed yet, this is a good moment to do it, because what we're about to get into could genuinely shift how you think about money for good. Let me take you back for a second. There was a time when I truly believed success meant exhaustion. I thought the people who made it were simply the ones willing to suffer longer than everybody else. 60-hour weeks, waking up before the sun, staying up long after everyone else had gone to bed. Push through it, grind through it, never complain about it. So that's exactly what I did. I worked constantly. I ran on coffee just to keep functioning. I spent more time thinking about work than I did actually living my life. And after all of that, I still remember sitting in my car one evening, staring at my bank account, feeling completely defeated. I had worked harder than almost anyone I knew. But I wasn't financially free. I felt trapped. That's the moment I started asking myself a different question. What if the problem was never really about how hard I was working? What if something much deeper was shaping the decisions I kept making? Because here's the truth nobody tells you. You can work incredibly hard and still repeat the exact same financial patterns for years. You can earn more and still spend it just as fast, almost without thinking. You can be handed a real opportunity and talk yourself out of it because part of you doesn't feel qualified. You can have a genuinely great idea and let it sit there untouched, because somewhere inside you already decided it wouldn't work. That's when I got curious about something far deeper than motivation. I started studying the subconscious mind, habits, identity, something called neuroplasticity, which is really just your brain's ability to change and adapt based on what you repeatedly think and do. And that's exactly where this nighttime practice comes from. Let me be upfront with you. This isn't a magic spell. It won't make money appear in your account overnight, and it's absolutely not a substitute for taking real action in your life. Think of it more like this. It's a way to deliberately choose what you focus on, especially during one of the quietest, most overlooked moments of your entire day, because your mind never actually stops processing. Conversations, advertisements, social media, the news, money worries, other people's opinions, old memories, your fears, your goals. All of it is constantly shaping how you see yourself and the world, often without you noticing at all. And most of that shaping happens automatically, in the background. That's what makes the subconscious so interesting to study. You don't consciously teach yourself how to walk each morning. You don't calculate every movement when you reach for a cup of coffee. You don't think through every step of a routine you've done 1,000 times. Your brain learns patterns, and once something becomes familiar, it becomes easy, almost automatic, to keep repeating. Which is exactly why changing your financial life isn't only about gathering more information. Sometimes the real work is changing the patterns that decide what you actually do with the information you already have. You can read 100 books on investing and still be too afraid to start. You can watch hundreds of business videos and still never launch anything. You can hear motivational messages every single morning and still quietly believe you're not capable of pulling it off. That's where your internal programming comes into play. Here's something worth sitting with. You didn't choose most of your beliefs about money. They were handed to you when you were far too young to question them. Maybe it was money doesn't grow on trees. Maybe it was we can't afford that. Maybe it was rich people are greedy. Maybe you grew up watching your parents worry about bills at the kitchen table. Maybe somewhere along the way you decided financial security was something other people got to have, not you. None of that means your future is locked in stone. But repeated messages over enough time turn into familiar beliefs, and familiar beliefs quietly steer behavior. So if you want a different outcome, it makes sense to start by looking at the beliefs sitting underneath the behavior you already have. This is where the nighttime practice gets interesting. Think about those last few minutes before sleep. Emails are done for the day. Messages aren't coming in. You're not rushing between responsibilities anymore. The room goes quiet. Your body starts to loosen up. Your thoughts naturally slow down. That's actually a rare and valuable window for reflection, visualization, and mental rehearsal. Instead of letting your last thoughts of the day be, how am I going to cover this bill, or what if this all falls apart, or I'm so far behind everyone else, you can hand your mind something more useful to focus on. And that's where 2 words come in. Not 20, not 50, just 2. Before I explain how to pick them, understand one thing first. They need to actually mean something to you, not feel fake, not create discomfort or pushback inside you. If your goal is a healthier relationship with money, you might land on wealth and success, or maybe abundant and capable, or prosperous and confident, or secure and creative. The exact words matter less than what's behind them. If wealthy brings up guilt or pressure for you, pick something gentler. Maybe abundance, it's easier. If successful feels too far out of reach, capable might feel more believable right now. You're not trying to force yourself to believe something you completely reject. You're simply pointing your attention toward a new possibility. This is where a lot of people trip up. They pick words because they sound impressive on paper. Skip that. Choose words that actually stir something in you, because emotion is what gives a word real weight. So take a moment now. Think about the life you're actually trying to build, not the one somebody else picked out for you. What do you want more of? Financial stability? Confidence? Freedom? Creativity? Opportunity? Peace? Pick 2 words that point toward that. And if you've already landed on yours, drop them in the comments. Maybe it's wealth and success. Maybe it's confidence and abundance. You don't have to share anything personal, just words that point your focus somewhere new. You might be wondering why only 2. Honestly, there's nothing scientifically special about the number 2. I recommend it because it's easy to remember and easy to repeat, and it doesn't turn your bedtime routine into something complicated. A single word can work. A longer affirmation can work too. But 2 carefully chosen words give you a simple anchor, something your mind can keep returning to, night after night. And that's really the whole goal here. Consistency. Here's an example. Say someone picks worthy and protected. Every night before sleep, they quietly repeat those 2 words, but not like they're reciting a shopping list. They actually sit with what being worthy would feel like. They picture walking into a room with real confidence. They imagine making decisions without constantly second-guessing themselves. They imagine feeling financially steady instead of constantly on edge. Over time, those thoughts start acting as a quiet nudge to act differently during the day. Maybe they finally speak up and ask for the opportunity they were too scared to ask for before. Maybe they stop putting up with treatment they don't deserve. Maybe they show up more confidently in conversations. Maybe they finally start learning that skill they kept putting off. Maybe they stop making decisions out of pure panic. The words didn't reach into their bank account and change anything directly. The person changed how they were thinking, and that changed how they were behaving. That's where the real power sits. So let's simplify all of this into something you can actually use tonight. I call it the 5P method. 5 steps, 5 things to remember. Step 1 is position. Get comfortable. No special room needed, no expensive gear, no candles or crystals required. Just settle into a position where you know you're about to rest. And ideally, give yourself a few extra minutes before bed instead of collapsing into it at the last second. Put the phone away. Dim the lights. Let the room go quiet. Give your brain a clear signal that the day is wrapping up. Then take 3 slow breaths. In for about 4 seconds, hold briefly, then release slowly. Don't force any of it. Just let your body settle. Feel your shoulders drop. Feel your jaw loosen. Feel the tension leave your hands. Step 2 is present. Bring your attention fully into this moment. Not tomorrow's problems, not yesterday's mistakes, not your bills, not your 5-year plan. Just here, right now. If a thought drifts in, that's fine, you don't need to wrestle with it. Notice it, let it pass, and gently return to your breathing. You're simply carving out a quiet mental space. Step 3 is picture. Now imagine what your 2 words actually represent. Say your words are wealth and success. Don't just picture a stack of cash. Go further than that. What would your life genuinely feel like if you were financially secure? Maybe you're sitting at a desk working on something you actually love. Maybe your bills are handled, organized, no longer a source of dread. Maybe you're supporting your family. Maybe you're finally traveling somewhere you've always wanted to go. Maybe you're building the business you keep talking about. Maybe it's simpler than all that. Maybe it's just waking up without that heavy weight of financial stress sitting on your chest. Use your senses here. What do you see around you? What do you hear? What does the room feel like? What's the emotion underneath it all? You're not pretending it's already happened. You're mentally rehearsing where you're headed. Step 4 is practice. Quietly repeat your 2 words. Slowly, naturally, wealth, success, then again. Wealth, success, no rushing, no forcing. Let the words soften as your body relaxes further. You don't need to say them out loud. Silent repetition works just as well. And as you go, tie each word to the feeling you built during the visualization. Think wealth, feel stability. Think success, feel confidence. Then let yourself sink even deeper into rest. Step 5, and this might be the one that matters most, is persist. Keep going. Not for one night. Not for 3. Give yourself a real stretch of time. Try 30 nights straight. And resist the urge to wake up every morning asking where your money is or why nothing's happened yet. That kind of thinking just adds pressure you don't need. Instead, pay attention to what's shifting inside you. Are you thinking a little differently? Are you catching opportunities you used to walk right past? Do you feel more confident? Are your financial decisions getting a bit sharper? Are you finally moving on that idea you've been sitting on for months? Those shifts matter more than you'd think. And here's the beautiful part. If you fall asleep halfway through the practice, that's completely fine. That's actually the point. You're not meant to lie awake all night repeating 2 words like a robot. You're meant to relax, let your body rest, let your mind quiet down, and drift off naturally. If your thoughts wander, don't get frustrated. Just gently come back. Wealth, success. If you're exhausted, start a little earlier. If you're wired, spend more time settling before you begin. And if emotions surface while you're doing this, don't panic. Sometimes going quiet is exactly what lets buried feelings finally surface. You don't have to resolve everything in that moment. Just breathe, let yourself feel it, and pick back up whenever you're ready. Now let's talk about mornings, because this practice shouldn't end the second your eyes open. When you wake up, try something different. Skip the phone for a minute. Give yourself 2 quiet minutes instead. Bring your 2 words back to mind. Sit with the direction you've chosen. Then ask yourself one simple question. What's one action I can take today that moves me closer to that? That's the exact moment intention becomes action. Maybe it's sending an email. Maybe it's applying for that role. Maybe it's finally learning a skill you've been avoiding. Maybe it's a hard conversation that's overdue. Maybe it's building something. Maybe it's cutting out a spending habit that isn't serving you anymore. Maybe it's finally starting that business you've been talking about for years without ever moving. Your subconscious isn't going to do this part for you, and I want to be completely clear about that. This isn't about sitting on your couch waiting for money to fall into your lap. Your mindset shapes your choices. Your choices shape your actions. And your actions are what actually shape your results. That's the real chain here. Mindset, then action, then consistency, then results. So throughout the day, build in small reminders. Keep your 2 words somewhere visible. Write them in a journal. Set a gentle phone reminder. Stick a note by your desk. Every time you catch sight of those words, ask yourself, what would the person I'm becoming do next? That question alone can shift a lot, because now you're not just repeating words at bedtime anymore, you're tying them to real, daily behavior. That's where a new identity stops being an idea and starts becoming something you actually live. One more important thing. Don't obsess over signs. Don't spend your days hunting for some dramatic miracle. Look instead for opportunities, ideas, conversations, people who might teach you something, spots where you could genuinely grow. Sometimes what you've been asking for doesn't show up as a giant check in the mail. Sometimes it's an idea, a phone call, a new connection, a skill worth picking up, a chance to try something you've never attempted before. And if your mind stays fixed on fear, you might walk right past it without even noticing it was there. That's exactly why shifting your attention matters so much. So tonight, once the lights go off and everything goes quiet, bring back your 2 words. Don't force them. Don't beg for a result. Don't spiral if nothing feels different yet. Just breathe. Relax, picture the direction you want your life heading in, and slowly repeat your words. Wealth, success, let them be the last thing on your mind before sleep takes over. Then tomorrow, get up and do something, even something small, that supports those words. Because the real change was never going to happen while you're lying in bed. The nighttime practice sets the stage. Your actions build the actual life. And if you've been pushing harder and harder without seeing the progress you're after, maybe this is your sign to pause and look a little deeper. You probably don't need to work harder. You might just need to work differently. Shift what you're focused on. Shift the beliefs you keep reinforcing without realizing it. Shift the decisions you keep defaulting to. Shift the habits you keep repeating out of pure routine. And most of all, stop treating your current situation like it's some kind of permanent identity. Your past doesn't have to become your future. You can learn. You can adapt. You can build new habits and pick up new skills. You can make sharper decisions. And you can build a completely different relationship with money and success than the one you're carrying right now. So tonight, pick your 2 words. Write them down somewhere. Practice them before bed. And take one real action tomorrow. If you're ready to commit to your 30-night experiment, drop your 2 words in the comments right now. Maybe it's wealth and success. Maybe it's abundance and confidence. Maybe it's something entirely your own, and that's exactly how it should be. Just make sure those words genuinely mean something to you. And if this video shifted how you see your financial life, even a little, hit like and send it to someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe to Tranquility Insight for more on abundance, prosperity, mindset, and building a healthier relationship with success and money. Tonight, once things go quiet, remember this. Where you are right now is just that, where you are right now. It doesn't have to be where you stay. Choose your thoughts on purpose. Choose your actions on purpose. And give yourself permission to believe a different future is actually possible for you. Take a deep breath. Relax. Choose your 2 words. And let tonight be the start of something different. Wealth, success, good night, and I'll see you in the next video.